Namaste. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of the country, is trying to build a new Lok Sabha and a new parliamentary building across. Now, we would like to help BJP, we would like them to sustain power. That is the reason why we are analyzing it astrologically as a principle. Now, the first thing is we shall backtrack it to Kalaignar Karunanidhi, who was the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister. Now, the fort, St. George Fort, was the place of power, and that particular place, DMK and ADMK was coming hand in hand across. Unfortunately, now Kalaignar wanted to break that thing and he built a new assembly in Omandur. The timing of getting the assembly in the Omandur was a big problem. He lost power and nearly for 10 years DMK could not come to power. So this is the problem across. So as soon as Jayalalitha came, she left Omandur and she continued in the St. George Fort, and after that Karunanidhi's son Stalin came and he did not continue in the Omandur estate, but he continued in the St. George Fort with the fear of losing the power. Now, when a king shifts the kingdom, he has to do it in the right time. The muhurta principle is very, very important. Now, many astrologers don't know the principle of muhurta, so they try to do it just like that. And normally, North Indian people are very famous for using Abhijit Muhurta, which is roughly at about 11 to 1 o'clock. It comes every day across. Now, please do not rely on Abhijit Muhurta. Muhurta has to be used with the Lagna, Dasa Bhukti, Nakshatra, position of the planets, all has to be included, including the divisional chart. So one has to really take time to understand. Now, many people try to use the Godali Muhurta, the time in which the cows used to come, which is roughly around 6, 12, 6. Morning 6, afternoon 12, evening 6. These are all people who are uneducated in the principle of Muhurta Shastra. For example, the Ram temple, the inauguration was done in the Abhijit Muhurta and the Abhijit Nakshatra without understanding the principles of Muhurta. Now, let us warn PM Narendra Modi. We really appreciate whatever he is doing to the Hindu community across. The problem is, if the new parliamentary building is inaugurated in the wrong time, BJP will suffer a huge setback in the Lok Sabha election. So one has to be very, very careful in the time of coronation and in the time of going to a new place across. That is the main problem which Mr. Narendra Modi sir has to take into consideration. The BJP stalwarts has to take into consideration. You have to fix the muhurta at the right time, do the ritual and then shift the parliamentary building. But if the muhurta is not fixed properly, BJP is bound to suffer a huge setback in the 2024 election across. The other way to solve the problem is, after the election is over, you can shift it to the new parliamentary building, which will be very, very helpful across as a person. Now, you have to understand that these have a huge impact into the destiny of the leaders, destiny of the building. For example, the Telangana Chief Minister built in a Vastu area and he did a lot of ritual. He believed in volume ritual of 108 Homa Kundas, like that across. So that is why he is able to retain the second term across. We really wish that BJP comes into the third term and he becomes as famous as Jawaharlal Nehru for having a third or fourth term across. There is nothing wrong, but the problem is that time of entering the building has a huge impact. Now many people don't understand this. I know somebody who had a massive heart attack after he entered the building in the wrong time. He said, I don't believe in the muhurta, and it happened. Now Indian astrology talks about Jataka, Prashna, Ganita, Gola, Muhurta. Muhurta was considered as one of the 5 limbs of astrology, and one who masters it, according to Varagamigira, is a master in astrology across. He said doing things in the wrong time is equivalent to killing the Brahmins across. So such is the heinous crime. I request the Pandits of BJP to see a good Muhurta and a good Lagna to inaugurate the parliamentary building across. Unfortunately, many people don't understand this across. The timing of the building, the timing of the doing anything has a deep repercussion into a people's destiny. It is not the mind, it is not the speech, it is not the feeling, intention, action. It is because with the link sync coincidence that time activates. The wrong time has a huge impact. Viparita kale vinasa buddhi. When the kala is viparit, you have a problem. That's why they say it's bad time. Bad time is not aligning the muhurta principles and doing it. Many people have constructed the house, they have gone into a new house, they have had a huge fall, they are not able to maintain their success across because they enter the buildings in the wrong time. Now if you want help, if you want your building to be rectified without any vastu rectification, we do the re-muhurta puja, which will be very helpful to you as a person. As an additional note, he went to Narendra Modi sir, went to Mahakaleshwar, that god of death, where they do the Bhasma Arati. Bhasma Arati is Lord Shiva will be smeared by the ashes of the dead body which has been burned that particular day. For example, the morning somebody has died, their body is burned, the ashes is collected and it is smeared across into the Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is the representation of god of death, is Mahakaleshwar. He went to Mahakaleshwar in Gujarat. There is a huge Bali which happened. 123 people have died with the bridge collapses there. Remember, the Indian devatas are very potent. When somebody invokes Mahakaleshwar, you have to give Bali, and that is unfortunately not many people are aware of that. When the king does, it has an impact on the subject across. That is why in Calcutta and in Gorakhpur, time and again, many children die suddenly. Like there is a 20-30 children death. There is a huge problem with the children's death across. That is because the Devata demands Bali, which is a part of the Tantra Shastra. And Narendra Modi sir, he is having a problem with the Gujarat election with Arvind Kejriwal coming behind the hot heels in front of him. After the eclipse, when the king has a death of a subject, he will have a huge problem. I was seeing the video of the Mongol dynasty, the Genghis Khan and the Kublai Khan. The dynasty went down because there was so much of flooding, earthquake. There was a huge problem with the weather condition across. So that is a very indicator of a king's rule. So Narendra Modi sir has to take a lot into cognizance before getting in the new building with the muhurta principle. There is nothing wrong in a king using astrology for the welfare of the subject across. One of the main problem why the GST got into problem, because it was done on the midnight, and midnight India got freedom. Jawaharlal Nehru with all his intelligence was not doing the correct thing by having the parliament in the night across. It has to be done in the morning. GST was done in the night session, so it has got into all kinds of complication in the thing across. In fact, I would request the BJP government government to do the relaunch of GST in the morning using the correct principle across. There was another problem. The farm bill was introduced where all the planets were in 6, 8, 12 from the Lagna, and the farm bill got misfired, and there was a huge problem with the people across. So that is the power of the muhurta. I am not saying that everything has to be done with a proper muhurta, but the main thing like re-inauguration of the building and re-inauguration of the parliament has to be done across. So if you are having problem with the office, you can re-inaugurate the office, which will have a massive impact. In fact, one billionaire in Kenya asked me, I said we can show 30-40% growth if we are doing the ritual every year across. So that is the power of the muhurta. In fact, I would tell during COVID, lot of people said we would shut down the business and we would be unsuccessful. We put the muhurta, we ran full cylinder. We did not close our ritual center one day. In fact, we had a huge growth. It is because of the muhurta principle, which I would talk to you in another video about it. I really wish that all people will use the muhurta principle in the remedies. It is not the stone. The stone doesn't work that much like muhurta. It is not going to temple. It is the time alignment which will have a huge impact into the person's life across, which I would talk to you. Thank you.